a 6-digit per diem bill. That's what we're talking about now. Do you think you're being overcharged for per diem? Do you know how to mitigate detention and demurrage fees? Or do you actually know just where to find the documentation and the proofs to be in your right? I'm Alexandra, co-founder and CEO of BlueCargo. BlueCargo is a platform that connects drayage trucking companies, third-party logistics, and shippers to move containers on time at the port with no late fees. The company is about 4 years and a half old. We're based in Los Angeles, Long Beach, and New York, New Jersey, and with national reach. What we have is the largest network of trucking companies in the country. So 900 drayage trucking companies are using BlueCargo every day to pick up and deliver the containers on time at the port. So what's happening is that historically, the port has been the major black box of our supply chain. So there's this big saying in the industry, you always know where your box is until it arrives at the port, and then you only know when it leaves the port. So that's what we're here to fix. So does any of these resonate? Experiencing high per diem costs, no visibility on demurrage, don't know how to mitigate demurrage and detention fees. So the key part here is the data. And what has been missing is the interconnectivity between the different data systems and providers. So I will just give 2 examples. So I spend my time visiting warehouses, freight forwarders, trucking companies, and when you talk about the small ones and you ask, do you have any per diem problems? They would all tell you, no, I don't. And then I'm like, okay, can I see your stack of paper here, and maybe can you see if you have a per diem bill? And then it happens that everyone has a per diem bill. 20K, 1,000, 800 bucks. Some are small, and so especially the small ones have no tracking system or any way to just have an accurate view of the fees we're talking about. So what we need to fix is 1, forecasting, 2nd, managing those fees, and 3rd, mitigating those fees. So talking about the data again, because this is where it's difficult. The first data point is your container availability at the port. When did the container actually become available for pickup? And this is the data you would find multiple sources with multiple different data points. So if you take the steamship line website, they would tell you container is available, arrived at the port. Then when you call your trucker, they would say, oh no, I can't pick up that container. And you're like, why? The shipping line tells me it's available. So it's because the container is in a yard closed area. And if you don't have access to yard location spots, you don't know what that means. So basically fixing this black box and being able to have every data point to understand and mitigate demurrage and detention is what the future is going to be about. Because we're shifting from only operations driven to also financially driven and reducing our cost. So the data points we're talking about. 1, container arriving at the port being available for pickup. 2nd, availability of appointments and gated out transaction. And then there's all the empty return leg that is actually the start of per diem. So what was the gate schedule? What was the empty return restrictions at the port? And were there appointments available with also chassis available? So that's all the data points that you need to collect to tell the full story of a container and be able to audit trail what happened to this container in this journey. So we are getting to the time of what we call the true cost of drayage. So that's something before the pandemic and during the pandemic, we had little visibility on what are the actual granular costs of a drayage move. And now we're moving to needing that information and calculating the true cost of drayage. So just a bit of sizing, what are those detention and demurrage fees we're talking about? So in 2022, for 1 container, average in nationwide is $664 per container. Nationwide for any container average. So of course it means there's containers you pay hundreds of thousands for, and hopefully some that you pay $0 for. And in New York, New Jersey, where we saw a lot of the cargo shifting after the pandemic and the congestion in LA Long Beach, it was $3,182 per container. LA Long Beach being somewhere in the middle. So yes, if you don't know your per diem and demurrage fee, it's the moment to start just acknowledging the cost and then finding solutions. So one case study to prove how collaboration can work. So we're working with Forest Logistics. That's I know Vince is also here on the show today. They're a broker, truck broker, dryage broker, and over the year of 2022, we were able to help them save their customer 4.1 million in per diem and demurrage in 1 year with the right resources, the right dispute process, and the right documentation. So that's the key, and it's becoming even more important, this collaboration and this partnership, now that OSTRA and the FMC is starting to be in playing here, and truckers are going to be able to provide their shippers for the actual proofs and screenshots, because shippers are going to also want to remove that burden and work directly with the FMC somewhere here. So that's what BlueCargo is. So a single platform to connect trucking companies, third-party logistics, and shippers together to move containers on time at the port with no late fees. So finally, you can say goodbye to per diem fees, and we're in booth K56 if you have any question. Thank you.